And then it happened, Book 7, Chapter 5, Dashing Through the Snow. Nothing ruins Christmas more than endless reminders about the poor, the hungry, and the homeless. Gordon, Paul, and I have noticed that whenever someone invents something great, like Christmas, which makes people happy and cheerful, certain other people, like teachers and principals, won't rest until everyone is unhappy and cheerless again, worrying about the poor, the hungry, and the homeless. Their usual method of ruining the holiday is to constantly remind us of those less fortunate than ourselves. The teachers at our school are pros at this. Mr. Evans, our principal, called a special assembly early in December. He announced that this year, instead of constructing a school float to enter in the town's annual Christmas parade, our school would save the money and donate it to a shelter for homeless people. Instead of spending money decorating our school, we would donate the money to the food bank. Furthermore, Mr. Evans announced that on December 19th, our school would be hosting a special fundraising dinner for all the important people in town. All the money raised would be given to a poor family to buy presents for their kids. Clearly pleased with himself, our principal beamed at us. I don't know if he expected applause or cheering, but he was met with silence, unhappy, cheerless silence. At recess, there was much groaning and grumbling in the playground. Everyone knew that hosting the charity dinner would mean lots of extra work for us students. We would be expected to wait on tables, to greet the guests at the door, and to clean up afterwards, including washing mountains of dirty dishes. Tables and chairs would have to be set up and taken down afterwards, and the gym floor would have to be swept and washed. This is exactly the sort of thing we've been talking about, complained Paulo. When you put the principal in charge of something like Christmas, it's goodbye fun, hello work. Yeah, it's like putting a dentist in charge of Halloween, I agreed. Goodbye candy, hello toothbrush. Or a hunter in charge of Groundhog Day, continued Gordon. Hello, hunter. Bang! Goodbye, groundhog. We spent the rest of the day feeling sorry for ourselves and complaining about the lack of justice in the world. A few days later, a sign was posted in the front hall of the school with a list of jobs for everyone. Gordon, Paul, and I got off easy compared with some students. We were assigned the job of placing signs advertising the fundraising dinner around town. We hung them at the post office, the grocery store, and on telephone poles where people would see them. December 19th finally arrived. Mrs. Hogsworth cornered Gordon, Paul, and me and said that since we had been assigned such an easy job, she had another task for us. At 5 o'clock that afternoon, we were expected to show up at school and sit by the gym door to sell tickets for the charity dinner. Arriving a few minutes before 5, we noticed that a table and 3 chairs had been set up for us by the gym doors. There was a cash box sitting on the table for us to put the money in. Well, this shouldn't be too bad, said Paulo. Dinner starts at 6 o'clock, so we should be done selling tickets in an hour. Soon, all the important people in town started showing up for the charity dinner. The mayor, the chief of police, some rich bankers, and most of the kids' parents from school. It was a great turnout, and by the time dinner began, we had sold nearly $2,000 worth of tickets. Wow! That family we're giving all this money to is sure going to have a nice Christmas, said Gordon. Yeah, agreed Paulo. I'll bet that without all this money, their kids would get nothing on Christmas morning. We locked the money in the cash box and decided to take it with us for safekeeping to our classroom. We were going to play computer games to kill the time until the dinner was over and we could give the money to the principal. Before we knew it, a couple of hours had passed. Shutting off the computer, we picked up the cash box and headed back to the gym. But to our surprise, it was almost empty. About a dozen kids were stacking chairs and tables and carrying out the garbage. Hey, where's Mr. Evans? Asked Gordon. Oh, he left a few minutes ago. All of the teachers were heading over to the mayor's house for a party after the dinner, one of the students informed us. Oh, great, sighed Gordon. What are we supposed to do with all this money? Well, we know where the mayor lives. We could take the money over there and give it to Mr. Evans, I suggested. I guess we've not got a choice, agreed Gordon and Paulo. We put on our coats and boots and headed off through the dark, snowy night to the mayor's house on the opposite end of town. Gordon carried the heavy cash box under his arm. We hadn't gone more than half a block when a black car with two men inside it pulled up beside us. A window rolled down and the passenger called out, "Hey, can you tell me where the nearest gas station is?" "Sure," said Gordon, approaching the car. "You just go down to the end of the street and turn right." And then, without warning, the passenger's arm shot out of the window and grabbed the cash box. "Hey!" yelped Gordon, yanking it away and leaping away from the car. "Give us that money, if you know what's good for you," snarled the man angrily as he opened the door and climbed out. He was a huge man and didn't look friendly. "Run!" I yelled, and Gordon, Paul, and I turned and ran for it. The man chased us down the block while the black car sped past us and stopped half a block in front of us. The driver leapt out of the car and came at us from the other direction. We were cut off. Veering to the right, we raced up the driveway, hopped a fence, and tore across someone's backyard. Climbing over another fence, we found ourselves near the school and decided to run back for help. As I stole a glance over my shoulder, I could see the big man still chasing us, and when we ran into the schoolyard, the black car pulled into the parking lot, cutting us off again. Not ready to give up, we turned and dashed through the snow. Climbing another fence, we raced down the street. The man and the black car were hot on our trail. I guess we could have given up and just handed over the money, but the thought of that poor family losing their only chance at a decent Christmas was too much. We had to protect that money at all costs and get away from the thieves. 3 times we thought we'd lost the thieves, and 3 times they turned up right on our heels. Hiding behind the corner of a house, Gordon whispered, I think we've lost them for now. Listen, I've got an idea." Exhausted from running and hopping fences, I was willing to try anything, even one of Gordon's crazy ideas. "You see that church across the road?" he asked, pointing. "Look at the nativity scene on the front lawn. I'll bet those wise men costumes would fit us." Without waiting to hear the rest of the plan, we all darted across the road and began pulling the clothes off the wise men. We quickly slipped the robes over our coats and put on the fake beards and crowns. Then, carrying gold, frankincense, and a cash box, we stood motionless on the church lawn, hoping that the thieves would give up once they realized that they'd lost us. A few minutes passed, and then we heard a car cruising slowly by. It stopped, and 2 men got out. It was the thieves. "Where do you think they got to?" one of them asked, standing less than a metre away from our frozen figures. "I don't know, but their tracks end here, so they've got to be around here someplace," said the second man. Despite the cold, sweat trickled down my back, and I waited for them to recognize us. "Well, they're not here," said the first man. "They must have circled back. Get in the car and let's keep searching." The minute the car was out of sight, Gordon gasped. "Whew, that was close. Let's get this cash box to my house fast." We took off in the direction of Gordon's house. As we ran down the street, we could hear a car getting closer. "Quick, over here," hissed Gordon, running onto someone's front lawn and striking a pose. Gordon and I got in line behind him and stood as still as possible while the black car slowly made its way down the street in search of us. It slowed as it passed us, but sped off as the thieves saw what appeared to be just another Christmas display of the 3 wise men. Once it rounded the corner, we raced towards Gordon's house, stopping to pose on someone's lawn whenever we heard the car approaching. 4 times we were able to outwit the thieves, but the 5th time they passed us standing motionless in the middle of someone's lawn, the car slowed down and stopped. The window slowly rolled down and the driver stuck out his head. "Hey, wait a minute. These lawn decorations are starting to look awfully similar," he said. The words were barely out of his mouth. And then it happened. Gordon sneezed. In an instant, the men were out of the car and the chase was on. We were exhausted and it was difficult to run in the long robes. Tripping and stumbling, Gordon, Paul, and I ran down a dark alley and then we suddenly stopped. We had run down a dead end. The alley ended in a high brick wall. We were trapped. We turned around in time to see the thieves coming toward us. "Well, well, well, what have we here then?" said the first thief with a menacing grin. "It looks like the 3 wise men aren't so wise after all." "Hand over the money and maybe you won't get hurt," snarled the second thief. Gordon, Paul, and I stole quick glances at each other. I could tell by the look in their eyes that neither of them wanted to give up the money. "No!" I shouted. "This money is for a poor family so they can give their kids a decent Christmas, and you're not going to take it." The thieves chuckled as they advanced slowly towards us. "Come on, kid. Play smart. Hand over the money," said the first man. "Yeah, remember, it's better to give than to receive," snarled the second man, shaking his powerful fist at Gordon. "If you want it, come and get it," called Gordon, holding it out. The thieves came closer and closer until they could almost reach out and grab the box from Gordon's hands. "Now!" yelled Paulo, and he and I lunged at the man's legs, knocking them to the ground. The 4 of us fell in a tangled heap. "Run!" I yelled to Gordon. "Save the money!" As Gordon started to run out of the alley, one of the thieves grabbed him by the ankle, bringing him down hard. We punched and kicked and struggled to get away from the men, but it was no use. They were big and powerful, and we were no match for them. They ripped the cash box out of Gordon's hands, leaving us on the ground. Not only had we lost the battle, we had lost some poor family's only chance at a nice Christmas. Oh, I had never felt so unhappy and cheerless in my life. As the thieves started running away with the cash box, the alley was suddenly flooded with bright lights. The thieves stopped in their tracks as 2 police cars screeched to a halt, blocking their escape. Someone had noticed a strange car driving suspiciously through the neighborhood and had called the police to investigate. Thank goodness they had arrived when they did. The police wasted no time in handcuffing the thieves and putting them in the back of one of the cruisers. Then the officers approached the 3 of us, still wearing the wise men costumes. Recognizing us despite the beards and robes, the first officer said, "So, it's the 3 wise men, eh? More like the 3 wise guys." And with that, we were tossed into the back of the second cruiser and driven to the police station. "Somebody reported some vandalism over at the church," said the officer. "They said the 3 wise men had been stolen from the display on the lawn. I might have known it would be you 3. You'll be charged with vandalism, assault, and theft." Gordon, Paul, and I sunk deep into the back seat and groaned. We were doomed. It looked like we were really in trouble this time, but when we got to the police station, we couldn't believe our luck. Fortunately for us, one of the policemen at the station had been at our school's charity dinner that night before coming on duty. We quickly told the police officers what had happened. The money was returned to Gordon, and the 3 of us were offered a ride home. "I'm so glad you guys showed up when you did," Paulo told the police officers in the front seat. "Yeah," agreed Gordon. "If you hadn't come along when you did, some poor kids would have been getting nothing on Christmas morning." Feeling happy and cheerful, we rode home in silence. End of chapter 5.